I follow him to serve my turn upon him. We cannot all be masters, nor all masters cannot be truly followed. You shall mark many a Jewess, a knee-crooking knave, that doting on his own obsequious bondage, wears out his time, much like his master's ass, for naught but provender, and when he's old, cashiered. Whip me such honest knaves, others there are, who trimmed in forms and visages of duty, kept yet their hearts attending on themselves, and throwing but shows of service on their lords, do well thrive by them, and when they have lined their coats, do themselves homage. These fellows have some soul, and such a one do I profess myself, for, sir, it is as sure as you are Rodrigo, were I the Moor, I would not be Iago. In following him, I follow but myself. Heaven is my judge, not I for love and duty, but seeming so for my peculiar end. For when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart, in compliment extern, 'tis not long after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve for doors to peck at. I am not what I am. Except I am what I am. I'm Mark, and this is Book Time with Elvis. Welcome back and welcome to my channel if you haven't joined me before. And I thought I'd do this tag video, although I wasn't tagged, because, Shakespeare has started. And although I probably won't be reading any this year, I don't mind a bit of Shakespeare. And I thought this was a great tag to do. I saw Randy L. Ray's version. I saw Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading version, and it was created by the three main hosts of Shakespeare, Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading, Jason from Old Blues Chapters and Verse, and A Day of Small Things as well. So the three of them created this wonderful tag, so I thought I would do it. Why not? Why not indeed? So let's go through the prompts. First one. What was your first experience reading Shakespeare, and what was it like? Well, I think my first contact with Shakespeare was probably through some kind of children's Shakespeare stories. So not actually really reading the words of Shakespeare, but maybe something along the lines of the Siblings Lamb and their Tales from Shakespeare, something like that, probably. But the first Shakespeare experience would have been, I suppose, around the age of 13, and we did Julius Caesar, and it was actually quite good fun. I'd oft heard a lot of the famous quotations from that before I'd even I think we all grow up knowing a lot of Shakespeare quotations before we even come to study him. But things such as beware the Ides of March, or friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, for I have come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. That kind of thing I would have known already. But it was good fun. I mean, I was, as I say, 13. I just arrived at school in England for the first time, and I remember we went to the theatre to see a production of it, and it was done. One of these updated productions in terms of the timing it was set in. So it was performed in like a kind of New York mafia situation. So everybody was dressed in like 1930s, maybe Chicago mafia, Al Capone kind of costumes and Tommy guns and all that kind of stuff. But it was great fun. It was great fun. So it was a good experience, I would say. Number 2, has the reading of a Shakespeare play ever brought you to tears? What scene was it, and where were you when it happened? I don't know. I mean, I do find the language very beautiful. I suppose, the death of Desdemona, spoiler alert, in Othello, which I did at school, was quite moving. I think I'm maybe more moved emotionally by his poetry, the sonnets, perhaps, than maybe the plays. But then I haven't read, for example, King Lear, which of course is supposed to be very, very sad. Number 3, are there any people that have played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey? Yes, I would have to say my teachers of English literature, especially at sixth form, level. So I guess that's like high school. So between the ages of 16 to 18 were all really fantastic. They completely brought Shakespeare alive, but also, you know, Chaucer and others, Christopher Marlowe too, and really kind of John Milton as another one, that they really brought these people. They gave me a different spin on these people and Shakespeare, as I say, in particular. And we did study Othello for A level, and I think, yeah, I would really thank. I mean, they were great, extremely eccentric teachers, but you know, they just knew their stuff, and I think definitely gave me an appreciation for Shakespeare that perhaps, you know, was maybe lacking prior to that. Number 4, do you have a favorite book or film about Shakespeare? You know, I this is probably a terrible answer because it is obviously nonsense, but I did quite like Shakespeare in Love. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was a fun film, and I did quite enjoy it. So maybe I'm gonna go with that. Perhaps, you know, yeah, why not? Number 5, which character in Shakespeare most resembles you and in what ways? Well, I suppose it's got to be either Bottom or Falstaff, hasn't it? No, I'm only kidding. Well, yeah, Falstaff though I think would be a good one. You know, I liked The Good Life as well. So it would be, yeah. There are plenty worse perhaps than Falstaff. Sir John Falstaff. Number 6, which play would you most like to see performed in the theatre and why? Well, I've seen a few. I suppose the one I would really love to see performed in the theatre, because it's probably my favourite Shakespeare play, because it's one that, you know, I love the film. I can't remember the year. It's probably 88, 89, Kenneth Branagh's Henry V. But I would love to see that performed properly in the theatre, especially if it could be done in such a way as it really, you know, really comes alive. So I would go for Henry V. What actor throughout history would you most like to have seen play Hamlet while in his prime? Well, you know, it's a difficult one. There's probably loads of them, but I'll go with one of my favourite actors. And, you know, I could have gone with maybe seeing someone who actually did play Hamlet, like Olivier or Gielgud or someone like that, but I might actually go, I don't know if he did actually, I should have looked it up before, but I might go with Alec Guinness actually. I think yeah, he would be an interesting one to see. Number 8, deliver your favourite speech or soliloquy from a Shakespeare play. Well, I've already mentioned my favourite play, so here's my favourite part from that play. What's he that wishes so, my cousin, Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin, if we are marked to die, we are enow, to do our country loss, and if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honour. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires, but if it be a sin to covet honour, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my coz, wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honour, as one man more, methinks, would share from me the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more, rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart, his passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company, that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbours and say, Tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars, and say, These wounds I had on Crispian's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day. Number 9, do any of Shakespeare's plays intimidate you? If yes, what play and why? No, to be honest, not really. And I, again, owe this, I think, to my wonderful teachers who meant that the likes of Shakespeare, Johnson, Milton, even Chaucer don't intimidate me as much as they might otherwise have done if I hadn't had the wonderful experiences of learning from these wonderful, wonderful tutors. Number 10, what tips would you give to intimidated readers coming to Shakespeare for the first time? I guess my tip would be don't be intimidated. Relax. Try it. Kind of read through on your own first, maybe, to see how it lies with you, and then maybe watch a play. You know, there are plenty of filmed versions. Watch it, see how they embrace it and how they do it, and then if you're lucky enough to know somebody who knows a bit about Shakespeare and how to read it and whatnot. I mean, perhaps I like the more, melodramatic style, but, to each their own. But I would say don't be intimidated. It's intimidating, yes, but, you're only falling into the trap if you allow yourself to be intimidated, because after all, you are speaking, you are speaking the same language. Yeah? He may well have just kind of used it to more effect or used it very differently, but this is your linguistic heritage, you see. So don't be intimidated if you're an English speaker. And number 11, what's your favorite Shakespeare play and why? Well, as I've already mentioned, it's Henry V. Why not? I mean, it's just a fantastic play, especially for an Englishman. I love history, so always the history plays were going to be special to me, and it's of course the most dramatic. It's in terms of the underdog story and against the odds and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think Henry V is just fantastic. And number 12, tag other booktubers. Well, I'm not sure it's my place because, as I say, I wasn't tagged in it anyway. I just decided to do it. But I'm sure Kelly and the other creators won't mind me having done it, and obviously opening it up to anybody who watches this. Consider yourself tagged. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy Shakespeare. I encourage you to take part, and if you haven't had the experience of Shakespeare before, now is the time. You can't be in better hands than those three wonderful hosts. Do take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.